So when I was cleansing with cedar, I was cleansing, energy from the past message, and my vision changed more in like a crystal clear way. I felt like my form changed, my face, like I was a different entity at that time, or being. I'll connect here, and we'll see what comes through. I'm Ben, by the way. Thanks for clicking on the video. Thanks for showing it for yourself each and every day. If it doesn't resonate, don't make it fit. Hearing brother from another mother. This is space, if you will. Almost like a ship, spaceship, if you will. Traveling to another galaxy. It's very fascinating, like how everything looks up there. Just cruising through. It's a long journey. I don't know, it's giving like Galactic Federation vibes type of deal. Protector of the stars. I see like a, what's that, an insignia or something on a bat or a patch. Yeah, that's this is interesting. This is I don't know what's going on here, Spirit. Brother from another mother. Three of Wands, expansion. Kind of getting the everybody sees things differently and believes in things differently. But what I'm getting at is, reincarnations, past lives, uh, coming to expand in a way like, let's say, if you see things this way, that there are uh, much more forms of life on many other planets, and uh, we chose to come to this school to see what it's like to be human. And yet we're still, we're tethered is coming through to our origin, to our, you could say, ancestors or siblings, past soul connections or soul ties in these past lives that are still there, in that place of origin, uh, communicating, but maybe in a way that we're not, I don't want to say understanding like we're missing something. It's just we don't know. We don't know. Who we are. We don't know who we are. We don't know that there's much more to everything than this fucking world, you know? Queen of Pentacles, practicality. Just gonna look at that word. Going back to what I was saying, like this is very practical. Mind, our experience here. What do people do in the world? You grow up, you have relationships, you work, you have hobbies or do sports and watch sports and use nature and have a lot of experiences that hurt you or make you happy and mold you into a person. You get sick and then we die. That's practical. thinking what I just said, uh, other life forms, other planets, other lives that we had and we reincarnated, that we were uh, going back to being a part of the Galactic Federation, maybe, things like this are not practical. And it is difficult to wrap our head around at times, let alone to think communication can happen telepathically, that we can jump timelines, uh, that everything is happening all at the same time, yet so far away in this idea that everything is external. That right now, all I see is, or you see, is me and the things on my walls. When really, if you go into uh, other realms, other dimensions, but yet it is still in this dimension, in our existence, but we can't fathom it, we can't see it because that's not practical. There are uh, so many things that our mind and our experience, society has proven to us that it has to be provable to believe it or see it. Beyond that, it is woo woo, it is invisible, it is impossible, it is unfathomable. How do we see? Believe. Naturally, we have to believe. Have to be open to it. And when we hang on to something solid so much, we can't. And it's not like it's a punishment. It is our own mind. It's the way it's structured to see, to believe. And just like no card will come out here, it is, we can't go beyond. We can't get there. Death, transitions. Constantly we're going through these cycles and experiences where our views and our thoughts are changing and evolving, our emotions, our processing, everything. Uh, we have to let go to see beyond. That is naturally for everyone, no matter what it is. Getting, a very practical or basic aspect of, healing from a relationship or losing something or going through a place of lack, we must uh, release our grip on whatever it was that we found bountiful or necessary for us to exist in that experience, relationship, people, places, or things. Our thoughts that this is real and nothing else. If I can't touch it, it's not real. This is how we get into like a lot of science and things like that. There are some. I'm not saying that you're this personality type, but I have seen in some folks that it's very brick and mortar. It has to be provable or it's not existent. And no matter what comes out on the internet or the news is the truth because somebody with a plaque on the wall said so, or this title. Beyond that, nothing exists. That is the way and the only way. Now, granted, some of those people might just be the NPC, the now, the very matter-ridden uh, mindset that this is it, and they keep the structure, the matrix together. They keep it formed uh, and informed is coming through. Pulling away from that, this mindset to see it. I will often say, believing is seeing. Seeing isn't believing. You have to get out of that place to see if you want to see. If you physically want to see things that most people can't see, we have to be open to it. And it's our structure that creates that. When we think of like a child and they have imaginary friends, they can see because they haven't been knocked down. That hasn't been taken away yet. The adult that is very in the material world, which is natural. It's no blame. It's struggle, hardship, and lack that create this dome is coming through of our perception. The child, sees all these things, good or bad. That monster in the closet is fucking real, or under the bed. The playmate, the angelic being, if you want to call it that, or someone from the spirit that they're playing with is real to them. It is. It's the imagination. And we can say we're just imagining things, but can you truly, like in a blink of an eye, go somewhere and see this amazing landscape and physically be there and feel it? Getting back to that place, when you start to have a thought and then all these things start to come in and it like builds this reality, that is it taking place. We can think it's just our imagination, but we started it, and then everything else comes in and forms it. This is no different than communicating with spirit. Obviously, uh, learn about what is good for you and what is not good for you. It's a highway out there, and there's a lot of trickster energies, there's a lot of negative energies, there's a lot of good. There has to be the balance. We have to learn. Sometimes when we go through an experience, how would we learn to protect ourselves if we were never in danger? It's same thing with spell work and all that kind of carrying on. How would we know how to protect ourselves if these negative things didn't take place? Everything is an ability to learn and grow. If we're just, that was off on a tangent, but it's what came through. When we're looking at these other dimensions and these realms and planets and stars and entities and all these things, they're all there. They are. Obviously, I guess they said that they're there now in the news. I don't really remember, but why would that be withheld? It's that it's control. I mean, keeps the matrix as it is. It does. Keeps the machine running. Most of these places, they're obviously very advanced and evolved, and call them people, if we will. People there don't act like people here. It's very different. Knight of Wands, adventurous. Be adventurous with your thoughts. If you're not a daydreamer, or we're not using our imagination, go back to that kind of space. Take time and just, if you can't, like I said, in a split second, if you can't do that, try to get there. You want to go somewhere real quick, you want to experience something, get back to that place that it's instant. And when it's instant, then we're going to be open to this and allow what to come through. Like when I started doing messages like this, I was resistant to say certain things, and I guess sometimes I still am, but I'm learning to just say whatever comes out because it holds validity. It may not make sense yet, but it is, the puzzle pieces come together, kind of like a dream. If we have a dream, it doesn't make sense. It might not make sense. Maybe it does right away, but if it doesn't, maybe the next night we have another dream, or throughout the day something happens and then we put the two together and it makes sense. Be very open to these messages, synchronicities, communication. Like, that's odd. That happened 2 or 3 times. I keep seeing this. What does that mean? And sure, we could look at it in the plain sense, like, this is very basic, but a blue truck. Okay. And then, well, that means nothing to me. But later throughout the day, we pick apart the color blue and a vehicle, a truck. What does a truck do? What makes a truck better than a car? You can really dive deep into things. But when we're open to this, and we start to pay attention, the more it comes through. Excuse me. And at that place, things get clearer. I was trying to say. One last card here, Spirit. Five of Wands, clashed interests. I'm being more drawn to self versus others. Obviously, you want to talk about this kind of stuff with other people, it's going to be a clash of interest. But this can just be in ourself when we. It's hard to get out of uh, this everything we live in, everything we see, because it validates our experience. To see beyond that, to get out of that, is difficult. And I'm not saying get out of it like escape. It is to see beyond, to get out of this prison that our subconscious has made as valid. You know, what is beyond that, or maybe conscious, what is conscious to us, how do we see it? And to see beyond that, like I said, is difficult. But getting through those clashed interests, the best way to start, like I'm going back to the imagination, just starting that, getting back to that childlike behavior or thought process, that anything is possible. And that will open the door. The more we allow it to open the door, the more the door will open naturally. I'll leave it there. If this resonated with you, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.